You know, going towards the bowl game, obviously with Ted moving on and Gus interviewing for some positions, what is it? How does the bowl affect the timeline of you wanting to make some get some new coaching staff in and I guess going forward, what is your timeline and your plan for finding a new defensive coordinator?
Well, we found one, me, for this week. So just real quickly, a quick snippet about that. You know, I'll be serving as a defensive coordinator for the bowl game. Timelines, I don't put timelines out there for, you know, any of those type of issues. We're always going to take our time and do our due diligence, you know, when it comes to finding the right fit for Auburn. So we'll do that. But I will be serving as a defensive coordinator for this game.
Is there any concern, Gene, about? I mean, there's going to be a whole lot of people filling staffs out there right now because there's a lot of jobs changing. That if you wait too long, you can lose potential candidates that you might otherwise have had.
Well, again, you know, we're going to do our due diligence, and you know, we'll identify who those people are that you know, we feel like are potentials for us, and it doesn't mean we won't be working in that direction, but we'll do our due diligence, and then we'll make sure that we have the right guy, whenever that is.
How's it going to change things for you, Gene, as far as being the defensive coordinator? Are you going to be in different kinds of meetings or anything like that? Going to change your daily life?
We'll work through the structure of all that, but you know, obviously, you know, my time consumed is going to be, you know, a large part with that, as we know. But you know, again, I'll be involved like I always am in other aspects as well. So, you know, we'll kind of we'll put that structure and how that's going to work together. We're not quite there yet, but we're going to start practicing next week, and we'll have it all in place by then.
Gene, when you start practicing Monday, who's going to coach the linebackers?
Again, we're kind of working through that. You know, the details of everything right now aren't necessarily in place, but we'll have those in place, obviously, by the end of the week.
With you saying, with you being the defensive coordinator of the bowl game, does that mean they will not, you wouldn't announce a defensive coordinator, a replacement for the staff until after the first of the year?
No, I'll never say that. I'll never say that. But it would be really hard for a guy to come in here and be a defensive coordinator in a week. So, again, this is the plan that we have, and we feel good about it. And we'll be working diligently in that direction. But again, I'm not going to put a timeline, you know, on any of that. I'd like to take some questions that might be related to the Chick-fil-A Bowl. That would be really, really nice.
I'd like to ask you about, as you prepare for it. I know a lot of coaches have different philosophies, you know, when it comes to preparing for a bowl game. I know a lot of coaches like to use it as time to get all these young guys that maybe haven't played a lot of practice time. I mean, how do you approach it?
My approach is that we want to win our 8th game of the year. That's our first priority, no question about it. So everything that we're going to do is going to be based on what we need to do to get our 8th win. If that entails, you know, young guys getting worked in there more than normal, so be it. Obviously, we would like to take any extra time we have to, you know, develop the rest of our football team. But at the end of the day, we've got one goal, and that is to win our 8th game.
Gene, how different is this one when you talked about the quarterback and kind of deciding which direction you're going to go down? Is it a little different in this bowl scenario in that you may have to have a couple of practices to kind of see what you're going to do, or you have a plan going into practice?
Well, obviously, we've got several numbers of practices. We've got a window of time to, you know, practice all of our young guys. So whether it's quarterback or corner or guard or tight end, you know, it doesn't matter. We'll work the guys, and you know, at the end of the day, we're gonna play the guys that give us the best chance to win. That's at every position.
Are there any players you know of that won't be available for the bowl game?
There's none that I'm aware of right now.
Gene, 2 years ago, you guys have good experience down in Tampa, sort of jump-started the 2010 season. Is that something you talked to the players about, the importance of the bowl and maybe building some momentum for 2012?
Well, I think there's no question that certainly is the case. Have we had that conversation at this point in time? No, we have not. you know, we've kind of surfacely talked through, you know, exam week and leading up to the bowl game and what bowl game we're going to, but that will eventually be a message because it is important. And it's not the tell-all sign of what's to come, as we know that, but it is important to get, for us, it's important to get our 8th win. And, you know, for us to get our 8th win and, you know, we win 30 games in 3 years, averaging 10 a year, that's a big deal for us. So that's where we want to get to.
Gene, will anybody else, will you have somebody temporarily involved in recruiting until you, to fill that spot?
Well, we're working through the details of that too, Philip, and those are all part of the equation. And again, we don't have anything solidified completely yet. There's different variables out there and different options, so we're working through those, and we'll get to them pretty quick, but we're not there yet.
When your defense gets on the field in the Chick-fil-A Bowl, how different do you think it will operate than it has the previous 12 games? I mean, with you in charge, will it have a different feel, different look?
Well, I'm going to make sure that the first thing we put out there is a team that is ready for whatever Virginia gives us. So whatever that looks like, you know, that could be different. It could be the same. It could be a little both. You know, it's all going to be dependent upon once we break Virginia down and have a great feel for what they're trying to do offensively. Then obviously we're going to put on the field what we think is the best, gives us the best chance to stop it.
Gene, has Gus talked to you about some of the interviews or prospects he's had over the last couple of weeks, and do you have a contingency plan in place if he were to get hired as head coach?
I've got a contingency plan for any of my coaches that happen to get other jobs. You know, that's what you do as a head coach. You always have a short list of every position on your staff that, you know, you could have to fill. So that's no different than, you know, anybody that would leave on our staff. So I've always got a short list. I think as a head coach, if you talk to most head coaches, they always have that available, you know, years in advance.
Back to the, I hate to go back to it, but
Don't.
The defensive coordinator, well, I'm going to it. So the defensive coordinator candidates, in your criteria is D1 coordinator experience, something that has.
My criteria is that I want to get a defensive coordinator at Auburn that fits Auburn the best and can stop the opponent. I don't know where he might come from, but those are two very important components of the guy that I would like to hire.
When you guys start practice Monday, I know there's some guys that they're trying to get healed up. Is there going to be some new guys available for practice and practice?
We hope so, Mark. There could be. There's some guys that are kind of right on the edge there where you're hoping they might be able to practice or start practice. Might, you know, see how they're progressing as we go, and then, you know, we'll have to make a decision from there. But you know, there's a couple guys that have been banged up, that really might have a chance to come back and contribute.